Group B: England, Iran, United States, and Wales. Now, I mean, initially when we had the pre-World Cup talk, pretty much all of you pretty think England will scale through. Just to confirm, I'll ask again, Big Steve, who are your top two to qualify from this group? What are you thinking for? You know,
No,
England is there.
It's England and Wales.
Okay, convincingly, you don't think the United States can do anything to upset the party?
No, they can do. I think England need to get off to a good start. They need to beat Iran and put in a decent performance to give them the confidence and not have to not let it become a psychological problem. But I think England and Wales will pull through. I don't think USA will do them damage.
In terms of psychology, England play Iran, and it should be, well, I would say it should be a good, smooth, easy game. But Madison hasn't made training yet, so he's not going to make that game. Kyle Walker is still getting up to speed. Everybody else seems to be fit and ready to go. Against Iran, Mr. Hinder, do you see that as pretty much like Ecuador, Qatar, England, who just have the chance to train and get that confidence and score a few goals? Or do you think Iran might have something up their sleeves?
No, they've got nothing up their sleeves at all. The game's been already taken over by as many political things as possible. Oh, I like the way the Americans pronounce it, Iran. It almost sounds like they're owned by Apple from it. I mean, I hate to say that it's a poor group, but it really is. Like when they made the World Cup 32 teams instead of 24, you're obviously getting teams that shouldn't be there qualifying. And I don't mean they shouldn't be there because they haven't got like the right, but they're just not good enough. And Iran and Wales are probably two of those teams that I would say that aren't good enough.
Even Wales?
I'm putting Wales in there, man. After what Kiefer Moore said, I'm coming out all guns blazing for that. I'm English, right? And no, like out of that, England and United Soccer America will be first and second, I believe, and Wales will be third and around fourth. Don't underestimate the Alexi Lalas American team. That's not a bad team on paper. Way better than the Welsh team on paper. I mean, they've got players from like League Two going there. That's low standard. And Gareth Bale and Ramsey both way past their best. So they've both well peaked and gone off the radar now. So I would say that the Americans have got a really good chance in that group. Our tough game is still against Wales, just purely for they're our closest rival, so it means more, right? So there's more of a tentative game. But if we don't breeze that group with 4 points, that's so confident. We don't breeze that group. Like, yeah, on paper, that's 9 points that group every day of the week, right? You look at it and that's 9. But yeah, I think we'll top the group. We'll struggle a little bit because that's just the England way, right? Rather than just dominate. But yeah, England and America for 1 and 2. Sorry, Wales. I do love you, really.
I think the difference between Qatar and Iran is that Iran will be a bit more organised. I'd expect a better sense of organisation. The setup will be different. They won't be so all over the place. So England will have to work a little bit to create a chance. It wouldn't just be handed to them, I don't think.
Yeah, they've got a couple of decent players in the Iran team. And
they got Kyrgios as their manager.
What was really funny is that when Qatar went 2-0 down, I mean, you just saw the manager on the sidelines. That was literally what his face was. What did he expect?
He looked like he was thinking hard, though. He looked like he was about to bring some strategy.
He's like, I've got no one to come on that's any good to change this game up. Like, but they didn't. Their naivety, and that I blame that on the manager, not the players for this one. Like every game for them should have been lined up of part of the bus. Everyone behind the ball. Leave one up top if you want to do a long ball over to the top. But I get your host, but don't try and play football against teams that have been more established, been around longer, got more seasoned professionals, and are playing in way bigger leagues. Like I want to say, know your strengths. Two banks of forward have been much better in that game of setting up and going right. Just try and break us down, rather than Ecuador just passing it around and chilling for 70 minutes.
And that's what I think. That's what I think Iran would do. At least 2 banks of 4.
Yeah.
until maybe it gets a bit later on, then people get tired and stuff. But I just think that they'll be more organised in that sense.
You got to try and snatch the win, right, rather than go for the win. Sorry, JJ.
I mean, speaking about things being on paper, and Mr. Hinder has already pointed out that the American team is not bad on paper. But if we're looking at it that way, do you think that Wales' qualification was a bit tougher than it would have been for the United States? And don't you also think that if we're doing things on paper, then Wales should surely qualify against, by way of quality of football and having to qualify? What do you think, Big Steve? I mean, you have said England, Wales, and Mr. Hinder has got England, USA.
I think Wales had probably a tougher path to qualifying for the World Cup. I just think that Wales got that team bonding thing going on. They don't have a plethora of stars. They play to their strengths, and in a group situation where they've got a couple of fixtures to play, 3 fixtures to play, they can come out with them what they need to get through the group. When it comes to the one-off games, that's when their quality or lack of quality, individual quality, will show them up.
I mean, you guys have you've been speaking about play to your strengths, play, solid back 4, solid back 5. Do you think so Iran, that you're pretty convinced will do that? Do you think the US will apply that, Mr. Hinder, against, say, England or even against Wales? Or do you think they'll go out all guns blazing?
The one thing that with the Americans is they'll be in the right state of mind for that particular tournament. Psychology and sports science and all of it, they're fully on. Yeah, maybe they haven't got the most technical of players, but they're still playing at a decent level. They qualified 3rd in their group. They lost 3 games. They came behind Canada and Mexico for their actual qualification. Wales struggled through as well with their qualification. They came 2nd. They only just beat Czech Republic by a point in the end, but they had Estonia and Belarus in that qualification. So I'm not really thinking that the Welsh journey was that much harder than the American journey. Yeah, it was a little bit harder because they're European teams, and we would say that. But I still think the Americans will be up for it. They've got an Arsenal goalkeeper, haven't they, Steve? He's sitting there proud. Couple of players from the Premier League clubs, but I think that their togetherness and all that will help them out. I think it's a one-off, isn't it? And I just need Kiefer Moore to eat his words, right? Just Kiefer Moore needs to eat his words after that. Like, Duncan's not here, so he's a Bournemouth player, and I know Duncan wasn't happy with his comments either. But it's the World Cup. It's the time to shine.
So you're pretty convinced that England will finish top of this group,
yeah?
And whoever finishes top of this group will play. What's it called?
Second place, isn't it?
Second place.
I would say we'll reckon Senegal.
So you guys are pretty much thinking England Senegal matchup, yes, and then of course England to go through, huh?
I didn't say that.
I mean, England are going through. England are winning it.
Okay.
Well, that's it. It's the World Cup. We've got to win one in my lifetime, just so I can tell my grandkids about it.
England can't afford to slip up, so they can't afford to get into a stage where they do something like draw against Iran, draw against America, and have to go and beat Wales. They'll put themselves in a really tricky situation if they go into the Wales game needing points, because the Wales will make it a local derby kind of thing, and then it will just, the quality will become a lesser thing.
In terms of playing to your strengths, what formation? I mean, this group stage would be a very ideal time for Southgate to show the quality and the attacking football that the England team has, because if things go according to plan, England finishes top of the group, and then they play whoever finishes second, unless Netherlands finish second. But let's say they play whoever finishes second. Do you think this is a good time for Gareth Southgate to actually show people that England can actually play good attacking football, Mr. Hinder?
I mean, as much as I would say I'd love us to win with some fast flowing paced football, like 3-0 up after 15 minutes, I'll have to take some scummy 1-0 own goals. I just want to win the tournament. I've never cared less about the quality of the football as I have of just getting over the finish line. And we all know that how good we can be on individually, the players, right? So collectively, they've only, as Duncan would point out, quite negative, boring tactics, right? But individually, there are some absolute quality superstars in that England team. And I think it would be really nice for us to go out maybe on the first game and show everybody that we mean business. But that's going to be a tentative affair, right? Regardless of, I know it's only against Iran, but it's going to be tentative. And I think, could we go out and win 3 or 4 now and show them great? It's still the same amount of points. Let's take a 1-0 own goal. I really don't care as long as we go through and win it. I'm literally that negative about however we play. Just don't want to get to the final or the semis and then lose it by some stupid, boring mistakes that we make. It's just got to be over the line, resolute, and that is as much as my poor little heart will take this year.
Okay, let's hope Mr. Hinder's heart is it is not broken anytime soon. But quality football or not, England and Wales, as Big Steve has predicted for this group, and Mr. Hinder, not liking Kiefer Moore, has gone for England and USA.
But good luck to Wales anyway.
Yes, good luck to Wales, even if I want you to go home. Nice one. I like it. I like it. All right, Group C.
Blame Kiefer Moore. He fired shots.
Martins.